Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thank you so much for coming back this afternoon. You know, I have a huge challenge to try to keep you guys awake on the Sunday afternoon right after lunch. So I had hired the cheerleaders from the Atlanta Falcons, but they couldn't come. Looks like they have a game today, and they couldn't be here. So we would have some demonstrations to keep you guys awake. But they couldn't come. You guys will have to watch me. So please be charitable enough not to take a nap during my talk. Okay, that's a great opportunity to practice charity as of today. Thank you. Actually, we're going to be talking today about this concept that we have in the gospel according to Spiritism. We have an entire chapter just talking about this concept, which is one of the beatitudes that was taught by Christ, which is blessed are the pure in heart. But what means, actually, here's the thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, because for they will see God. But what means to see God? How do we see God? Who is God? But somebody can say, well, I already saw God. I was in the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, and I saw God in the ceiling of this chapel touching Aidan by the finger and giving his life and everything. But that's not the God that we were looking for. That's not just that figure. Not just not that old man with the old long hairs, white hairs, with that facing that we can imagine as our grandfathers. We are looking for a God which is much greater than that represents much more than just a figure. We are looking for someone that is totally powerful, totally just, totally love, total mercy. We are looking for someone that we can just find a draw in any books or anywhere. We have to find and look for that God inside of ourselves, inside our hearts, because that's exactly where he placed himself inside of us. So those which are poor in heart, they will be able to see God, because they will have the pureness on their heart to see through it and find God and find the lessons and the missions that we have for ourselves. So we try to see what exactly means to see God. And I was looking and making some researches on that, trying to find out some explanations and everything. And I came across this little and brief poem, which was written on the early 60s by someone that is not a spiritist. This guy was a philosopher, and he wrote some phrases and some definitions which I think fits perfectly in what we were looking for on ourselves today. On this poem, he starts, Lord, you bathe me in the radiance of your light, yet blind, I do not see you. You speak to me in eloquence of your verb, however, deaf, I cannot hear you. Your blazing warms me in your love, and yet numb, I cannot feel you. Oh, strange contradiction, thou near me, and I so far from you. So that means the fact is we have God at our side pretty much every instant on our lives. But we are so deviated from the main focus that we can't see any of his help that he offers to us. He's always at our side as someone, as a friend, which is helping us or offering a counsel, a word, an orientation, a consolation. He's at our side as a co-worker who helps us to adapt ourselves on our new environment. He's with us as someone, as a family member who helps us on a moment of a struggle and difficulty on our lives. He is at our side as someone that we cross in the street and we have the opportunity to help that person, but we do not do and we do not practice the charity as he has taught us to do. So he's closer to us. He's at our side pretty much in every moment of our days and our lives, and we just can't see it because we're still looking for that old man with that grown white hair looking to give us the orientation. But he's not out there. He's in here. And when we start to look in here in our hearts, and we purify our hearts that we have, then we'll be able to see him much easier. So this is the first part of this poem. To see God means, according to this poem, unveils to me, Lord, my eyes blinded by pride. Open my ears, deaf from vanity, and sensitizes my heart, hardened by evilness, so that I discover your divine presence and the intimacy of myself. This poem was written by Rubens Romanelli on the book O Primado do Espírito, which it has no translation into English. As I said before, this guy was not a spiritist. He's a philosopher, and he used to he wrote a few books on late 50s and early 60s. So when we see this poem, we have those facts on our lives that God is close to us. And then he gives us, I would say, a kind of a way, a kind of a pathway that we should follow to find God in our lives. First, we should be combating pride. We should be looking to eliminate vanity of our lives. And we should be warming our hearts so we can be more lovely towards other people as well. And if we follow and if you feel these advices that he gives to us, we'll be able to pretty much eliminate all the hardness that we have inside of us. We'll be able to see the life on a totally different perspective. To see God means combating each one of these evil things that we have inside of us. And to do that, we need to have the help, and we need to have the support from his most important missionary that he has sent it to us, which is Jesus. Jesus gave us all the recipes, all the pathways, all the ways that we need to fight against those things. If we are strong enough to fight against those imperfections inside of us on each day of our lives, at the end of our lives, we're going to live this life much better than when we came over here, which is basically the main purpose of the Spiritism, to try to taught us how to become a better person. That's our main purpose on this life. It's not to save the world. It's not to convince anyone that Spiritism is better than any other religion. It's not to be married with my wife because that's my karma. No, actually, that's her karma to be married with me. That's the other way around, right? Yes, no, yeah. I don't have a brilliant purpose for my life over here. I don't have a mission for that. Our mission is to become better persons. And if we do that, we'll end this life much better when we came over here. So now I would like to approach some of these aspects, the pride and the vanity, and how to combat those evilness that we have inside of us so we can open our hearts much better and then we can see God. How to open our eyes, ears, and hearts, especially our hearts, before a surgeon does that for you. Because if we do not open our heart soon enough, your surgeon for sure will do that for you. Because when we start to keep so much anger inside of us, so much hate, so much unsolved issues that we have with us and with other people as well, we're going to clog off all our veins. We're going to block our hearts, and we're going to have a really serious heart disease. As Haroldo was saying on the other room this morning, that most of our diseases that manifest on the on the physical body comes from the soul. These are the illness that we carry inside of our soul, and they got transferred for the physical body. So if we don't want a surgeon to open our hearts for us, let's do that for ourselves, because we have it. We can do that. We have the power and we have the capability to do that. So what is this pureness of heart means? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And then on the gospel, on Mark chapter 10, we have, now people were bringing little children to Jesus for him to touch, but the disciple scolded them. When Jesus saw this, he was displeased. He said to them, let the little children come to me, and do not try to stop them. For the kingdom of God belongs to those who are like them. truly I say, whoever will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter. And then he took the children in his arms, put his hands on them, and blessed all of them. So what this means to be like a child? So that means that I should be always like a child, playing. Don't want to growing up, playing in the sand with my friends, hide and seek, and soccer games, and football games, and baseball games, and not growing up. That's what Jesus meant? Actually not. Pureness of heart is inseparable from simplicity and humility. It excludes all ideas of selfishness and pride. This was why Jesus took infancy as the symbol of purity and humility. So we should be behaving ourselves just like the childs. If I put the childs in a room today, they're going to get some trouble to get along, but they will get along very fast. In a few minutes, they will be able to be playing together, sharing their toys, especially if there's no supervision. They will get along. They will play with themselves. They are going to fight among them, but they will very fast. They will forgive about those fights. They will forgive and forgive each other. They are going to be able to walk along those issues that they had with the other children very fast, which we don't do it. As we grow up, we tended to keep the hate, the problems, and the issues that we had with somebody else with us. And we don't live like a child. From the point of view of our present life, it offers an exact comparison because a child, having had no opportunity as yet to manifest any perverse tendencies, presents us with an image of innocence and purity. So it becomes clear that Jesus did not say the kingdom of heaven was meant for children, but for those who assemble them. So we should be behaving like the childs, acting like that. I saw a piece on YouTube a few months ago, I would say about 5-6 months ago, and there was a piece, an advertisement, if I'm not mistaken, from a bank. And they have the children in a room, and they have 2 plates covered with a cover. And in one plate there was a sandwich divided in 2, and the other plate it was nothing. And all the children, the 2 children that were in the room, both of them, they were hungry. So they were told to be seated on the benches and everything, and just open their covers when they were told to. When they were told to open the covers, they opened. One of the kids saw the sandwich and was very happy. And the other ones looked into the plate and said, well, there's nothing here. And then he started to look around and everything. Well, they filmed, I would say, about 10 pairs of children. All of them, all 10 of them, divided their sandwiches with the other kid without being told to do so. Without being told to do so. That's is behaving like a child. That is acting like a child. Not having any kind of impurity inside of us. Leaving that flow of energy, of good energy that we have with us, flow through our decisions. That's the main problem that we have. As we grow up, we got a thought that we have to hold our good feelings. We have to protect ourselves. We shouldn't be doing good to everyone because we never know what the other person wants from you. Everyone is looking on to try to take advantage out of you and etc. So we got to be careful with people. And as we are taught to be careful with people, we kind of repress this flow of energy that we have inside. We don't let that flow of energy flowing together or flowing through us and doing the things that we were supposed to do or acting in the way that we were supposed to act. We got conditioned to do another behavior than we were taught by our own father. But we have that sparkle inside of our hearts. And that's what we're trying to do over here. Try to release that sparkle so that sparkle can again command our thoughts and command our lives. So, as the pureness of heart, it resembles like the behavior of a child. I would like to bring over here a brief example and what that means. This guy over here, Nick, he was a cancer patient for a few years in a hospital. And after he got released from that hospital, he founded this Cancer Stings Children Foundation, which this mission was to bring comfort and joy to children battling cancer. Understanding how hard having cancer is and how scary the hospital can be at night for a child, Nicholas created his Nights of Love care package. Each item in the package was chosen by him and not only offers a sense of comfort and security, but helps to lessen those feelings of fear a child may have when they spend night after night in the hospital. So this little kid, he used his own experiences to try to bring and take some comfort to other children which were suffering the same thing that he went through. He had that experience, he had that expertise, and he was trying to avoid that other children go for the same struggle that he did. But what was inside of this care package? A teddy bear, a flashlight, a blanket, and a book. A teddy bear, because all children, when they want something, when they hug a teddy bear, they feel a kind of comfort, they feel attached, they feel that someone is over there. When we spend the night in the hospital with all the lights are off, you can get scared. You don't know what is going on, so you have a flashlight. In the hospitals, for those who already spent the night in the hospitals or wearing just those beautiful gowns that they have, wonderful, you know how cold it can be in the hospital just with that. So you have a blanket. And you have a book, because most of the time you were sleeping during the days because of the medication that you have. So if you are awakened through the night and you have you are not able to sleep, you have the book that helps you to kill your time. So these are the care package that he was offering to other children. He was just sharing his experiences with the ones which are in need. That is behaving like a child. But let's come back to our adulthood word. What we should do ourselves to open our hearts. How can we work with our only daily activities and programs so we can change ourselves, so we can open our eyes, ears, and hearts to see God? One of the things that we can do is to practice self-control and moderation on acts, thoughts, and words. But not exactly on that sequence. The sequence there should be thoughts, words, and acts. Because what you think, that's what we say, and what we say becomes an action. So the first thing that we should be practicing this self-control in moderation is on our thoughts. When we think right, we say right, and we act right. When we think wrong, we say wrong, and we act wrong. So when we can control ourselves on this process and let the things happen on a more controlled way, we are going to do the things on a much easier way. Again, we were taught when we were growing up to just react to the things. So when we hear something which is bad against us, that is something that we don't like it, we immediately react. Because we say that we have to make our point, and then we have to give an answer to that situation. We have to give an answer for that person, and all of this. So we just react. When we react, because our brain acts much faster than we can control it, most of the times we are already we are not blaming. Arrependimento. Regret. Thank you so much. You know, we spent it on so many years of it. Those kids that were here this morning, they can speak a perfect English. The one that is 5 years old speaks an English perfect. How come those kids can learn English and I can't? Something is wrong with my brain. I have to review that. But anyways, we react so fast that as soon as we say something, we are already regretting what we just said, because we know that we did something wrong. But that's the point. We tend to react very, very fast on that. And that's the point. When you can control all of these, we're going to control all the other reactions that comes after your thinking and your thoughts. And the gospel, according to Spiritism, also, we have this message that says, you have heard it was said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman to desire her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Under no circumstances should the word adultery be accepted in the exclusive sense to which it is commonly applied, but rather it should be understood in more general terms. Jesus used it in many times in extensive sense to designate evil, sin, and every type of bad thoughts. So true pureness is not only in behavior, but also in thought. Since the person who has a pure heart does not even think in evil. That's exactly what Jesus meant about this phrase. You have heard what say, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman to desire it, just the fact of thinking in something bad, you are already committing a sin. We are already making something wrong. And that's what we have to try to control our line of thoughts. We should be controlling what do we think so we can control the reactions on the words and the facts that we can generate after that. Also, Jesus wished to say that he condemned sin even in thought because it was a sign of impurity. So every time that we are that we think in something that it's against God's law, we are already doing the wrong thing. And Jesus is trying to say that. Let's kill that phrase, let's kill that thing on the source. Let's not let these kind of thinking and thoughts become a word and an action on our lives. So that's when we have to practice this self-control and moderation. But how do I practice this self-control? Now it comes the second part of that, which is, I would say, one of the most difficult things that we can do in our lives. To practice this self-control or this moderation in our daily activities, in our daily lives, we have first to think. Yes, we have first to think. How we do that? We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we talk. Right? God is perfect. He had created nothing wrongly. Everything that we see wrong, it's because our eyes are seeing that in a wrong way. So if he created us with the 2 ears and 1 mouth, that means a very clear message to us. You should listen twice as much as you talk. But for us, it's exactly the opposite. We say and we talk 10 times more than we listen. And sometimes we can even listen. Someone is talking to us, trying to help us, and we are not listening to that person. Looks like we create a barrier for that because we already have something against that person. Something has happened in the past that we block any communication from that person, and we don't even listen. Somebody's trying to help us, and you just don't pay attention. When we start to think, when we start to listen more, we can control the thoughts and the words that comes out of our mouths. Because we have time. We put the practice of timing on our existence. But what this think means on our attitudes. Think before you speak. It is true. It is helpful. It is inspiring. It is necessary. It is kind. If not, doesn't say it. Don't even open your mouth. If it's something that is going to be aggressive, it's something that is going to hurt someone, it's something that you don't know if it's true or not, gossips and these kind of things. If you don't know these, just even don't say it. Because it's much better we keep our mouth shut and let someone else think that we are stupid than when we open our mouth and that person knows exactly that we are stupid. So at least you leave that person in a doubt, and us too. Yeah, because when you open your mouth and start to say, "Wow, that guy is really stupid." Now I know that. I have heard that. But if we keep our mouths shut, we might leave the person in a doubt, which is much better. That's the second point of this transition. First, we have to practice the self-control and the moderation. Is starting to control our thinking or our thoughts. Then we should listen twice as much. And when we're going to say something, if we practice this, we're going to avoid a lot of troubles and a lot of problems in our lives. According to the strength of the desire to purify itself, the evil thought becomes a means of advancement when it's energetically repelled. This is in the Gospel according to Spiritism on the chapter 7, item 7. So we can have a wave or a bad thought or an evil thought. But if you can control and restrain that thought over there and not let it grow inside ourselves, we are already practicing the moderation. We are already practicing the shift of line of thoughts and thinking in our existence. We are already controlling ourselves. We are being able to dominate ourselves. Because what it means to become a better person? If we can dominate and control ourselves, it's a great stage. The most powerful person or people in the world are not the ones who control corporations or control thousands of people. The most powerful person in the world is the one that can control himself. That means power. That means that you are fighting against all the points that you always had lived for. But for some reason, you find out that those points doesn't fit your needs anymore. So that's when you become powerful, when we can control yourself. When you would do that perfectly, you are in the right way. The third stage that I would recommend to open our eyes, ears, and hearts, actually it's a brief reading. On this book over here, The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements, it's a non-Spiritist book. This guy is not a Spiritist. Actually, he's a father, Don Miguel Ruiz. He's a priest in Mexico, but a very smart one who has a few thinkings, a few thoughts, and a very nice insights that if we can apply that to our daily lives, we're going to be able to definitely solve, I would say, 90% of our issues and struggles. On this book, he brings these four concepts, the four agreements that we do with ourselves to change our behavior and change our lives. First of all, be impeccable with your word, which means speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. When we are impeccable with our words, when we say exactly what we mean, we don't have to remember the lies that we told it to someone in the past. Because you start to lie here, lie there, and then you lie there, and then the next week you're applying other lies and creating other lies. In a month or so, you are about lost and all the lies that you had told. So you don't remember anymore what lies you told it to whom. And then you create problems and contradictions to yourself. While you are always saying the truth and always saying what you mean, you create no problems for you. Because your word is impeccable. Just like that, for example, that doesn't happen at my house, thanks God, but it's just an example. When somebody say, you get to your significant other and you ask, "Hi, honey, what is wrong?" Nothing. When it said the thing, nothing, and the eyes goes down, prepare. Because the World War III, it's about to explode. But what is wrong? Nothing. Man, you can see problems coming up. You can feel the tension in the air. And then you start to find out what you have done wrongly. What was my mistake? What I said, what I did, what I didn't do it that she was expecting or so. And then you spend thousands of dollars in dinners, movie theaters, plays, and travels, and going to the beaches and everything, and you never can find out what you did wrongly. Because someone wasn't impeccable with your word. Because if you had asked, how's everything? How are we doing? Well, I'm kind of upset with you because you forgot my mom's birthday. That's fine. It's a lot easier and saves a lot of money that you don't have to spend on dinners and travelings around and everything. And saves a lot of struggles, a lot of conflicts, because we've been trying to find what we did wrong. When we use our word as we are supposed to use, and the power of communication that we have, we don't create those struggles for our lives. We are very sociable people. We live together, and we have to live together. What is the base of our community living? It's the communication. If we can't communicate clear with the people and transmit our feelings and our thoughts on a very clear way, what are we doing to ourselves? We're blocking communication. And that's how we transmit knowledge, impressions, feelings, loves, sentiment. If we can't express ourselves on a clear way, we have a struggle already. So that's the first point that he recommends that we work with. Second point is, don't take anything personally, because we have the tendency to think that we are the most important people in the world. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do, it's because of you. Everything that people do, it's because of them and their reasons. And all of a sudden, you have a trip already scheduled for, I would say, 6 months in advance. Those are the ones which are the trips, the dream trips that you spend years and years planning and everything. And you already bought the air ticket, you have the hotel reservations, the restaurant reservations, the plane tickets reservations, everything done and everything prepared. Then your sister-in-law says, well, you know something, the junior's birthday, we're going to be on this day. That you find out that it's exactly the day that you were leaving on that dream vacation. And then you get really upset because why she had to do that to me? I know that she doesn't like me. I know that she hates me, but she had to put this just to provoke me. Well, we don't know that that Saturday was the only day available for her to do that. She was not even thinking about you or your trip. She was thinking on her needs. And she did what the best for her. But we tend to think that everything that everybody else do is to provoke us. And it is not. As I heard someone saying something like that, we are in this planet about 7 billion of incarnates. Then we have another 25 billions of spirits living on the same planet. Then we have, I don't know how many billions planets on the Milky Way. And then we have, I don't know how many billions galaxies out there. And we think that we are the center of the universe. It's about time to review the scale of values that we have for ourselves. Don't take anything personally, because it's not. What the other people do to you, it's not because they want to hurt us or they want to do bad things to us. We think that we are much important than we really are. The third point is, don't make assumptions. We try to find out that we know exactly what is going on about everything, everywhere, to everybody, and we don't. Communicate with others as clear as you can to avoid misunderstandings. Well, because I was expecting this person to come over here, but he didn't just show up, and I'm kind of mad with him. I don't think that I'm going to be talking to this guy anymore because, he left me over here sitting and waiting for him. And, well, I'm just assuming that he didn't want to come, so that's why he didn't show up. But we don't know that he had car problems, health issues, work-related problems, and everything else. We are just assuming that we know what happened. We are just assuming that this guy just wants to talk to us, which is not the truth. And we are making assumptions about facts that we don't know the reasons, and we don't know everything about it. Always do your best. No matter what you do, to whom you do it, always do your best. And the very good point about this, do your best, always do your best, because your best every day is much better than it was in the day before. Because tomorrow, as you are a better person, you're going to be doing your best on tomorrow. Yesterday, you did your best on your capabilities and power that you had yesterday. But tomorrow, your best, you're going to be much better than it was yesterday because you became a better person. But if you are applying our best in all the attitudes and all the challenges that we have, and we have the certainty that we did the best that we can, the best that we could, there's no regrets. There's no second thoughts or thinking, did I do everything that I could? Did I did everything that was within my power? It was something else that I could be done because you didn't do everything. When you do your best, there is no second thoughts, there is no regrets. You did everything that you could. And tomorrow, probably you would have done something different, because tomorrow you know more than you knew yesterday. And the next week, the same thing, you're going to be knowing more than you know tomorrow. And our best is going to be always evolving. So this book, it's a very easy one to read. It's 80 pages or 75, 80 pages. It's not that big. You can find this pretty much everywhere. It's a very light and easy book to read. And it brings a lot of these good insights to our lives. So because change shifts everything that we think about ourselves and about the other people. We put ourselves in a totally different perspective and help us to face the struggles that we have with other persons every day. Also, the mere appearance of pureness is not enough, because above all else, it is necessary to have a pure heart. Belief in the efficiency of exterior manifestation is null and void if it does not oppose the acts of murder, adultery, robbery, and causing of slander or damage in whatever form to whomsoever it may be. Point here is, it's not just enough to have the appearance of pureness, saying good things about this, saying good things about that, or showing yourself on a good situation. But the most important thing over here is to act as a pure heart, is to act in the way that we were taught by God. Not just showing up ourselves. Going to the Spiritist Center or to the church or wherever you go is not just enough. We got to go so we can study, so we can learn, so we can start to change ourselves. But once we had changed it, once we know other things and different things, we got to put this into practice. We got to transform into actions everything that we know. Just showing in the appearance of pureness is not enough. That's not going to bring us the capability that we know to release the sparkle that we have inside of our hearts so we can see God clearly. But once we let that sparkle dominates and controls our actions, our thoughts, and everything, then we'll be able to understand and see the opportunities that we have. It should therefore be understood that each one must destroy within themselves everything that might cause offense, that is to say, all evil, by rooting out every impure thought and every tendency towards violence, corruption, on depravity. And we have the capability. We have that power because God has put inside our hearts that sparkle. When we release that sparkle through the Jesus teachings, through the pathway that He had led us, that He gave to us 2,000 years ago, and we put that in practice, and we combat all of these evilness that we have inside of us, then we'll be able to see God. When we come, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be the most perfect persons in the world. But if we start to combat pride, vanity, selfishness, envy, everything that we do wrongly to other person, hate, if we started to control our thoughts, if we started to act to other people with love, compassion, fraternity, we'll be able to see God. Because then we are going to be pure in our hearts. We're going to be letting that spark dominate and control our hearts and take the decisions and the choices towards the perfection. Then we'll be able to see as clearly as the daylight. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you not sleeping over here.